I don't know if you've noticed, but now when you scroll the feed on any social platform, it's not just pretty photos, but it's video and reels and music and pretty photos, but tons and tons of content being thrown at you, right? Back in the day, you could just be a photographer and post pretty photos, and hardly anyone was doing videos. But now we're doing so much more. Are you a photographer or a content creator, or do you have to be both? That's what we're talking about in today's podcast.
You are listening to the Anna Brandt podcast for the year 2023. Anna Brandt has been a professional photographer for over 24 years and has taught worldwide in over 40 countries. She continues to educate in person and online while running a busy studio in Tustin, California. My Mom's podcast is all about educating and motivating the creative entrepreneur. My name is Ava Brandt, and I'm happy to welcome you to the 5th season of My Mom's podcast channel. We hope you subscribe and stick around.
I find it really interesting how things have progressed so quickly and changed so fast. For years, there have been so many times when people ask me about marketing and would say, how do you do it? I would always tell them video. Even though I became a photographer in 1999, I started doing video in 2008 just by myself without a staff, just using a flip cam, and started posting videos on YouTube, not really understanding the impact it would have on the world or where my future would go. About 5 years or so, I was teaching in China, and one of the audience members asked how he should market. And I thought that was super fascinating because I was wondering how I was standing there in China and how they even knew who I was. He said he knew who I was through my videos, which I also found fascinating because they don't have YouTube in China. But yet here I was in China and he knew me through my videos that were on YouTube. How he found them, where he saw them, I never really had a chance to ask. But here, I found it amazing that videos is one of the reasons why a lot of people in the world know who I am. Now, fast track, here we are in 2023, and video is all the rage. We see it everywhere. We don't know how we didn't do video. It's TikTok, it's Reels, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, it's Shorts. It is almost every single day. And so photographers are still saying, how do we market? How do we get our name out there? And how do we get ourselves up in the morning when our phone isn't ringing? And how do we avoid feeling less than and feeling worthless when we're not booking as much as we want to be? There's so many things that I want to discuss on this topic because you're not just a photographer anymore, but you're a content creator. So you have to kind of be both. I don't think it's good enough anymore to just be a photographer, put your work out there, post your specials, and then just wait for the phone to ring. Because if that's what you're doing and the phone isn't ringing, then you're probably feeling a little less than. You're probably feeling, you could feel so many things, right? When you're booking and you're busy and people want you and they want their images and they want their time, that's one thing. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I got to figure out work-life balance and I have all these shoots and I need someone to help me with my email and my contracts and the delivery and the editing. And you're just so overwhelmed that you're trying to figure out how to get through the day. And then there's that other side where it's your phone isn't really ringing or people are calling you about pricing and sessions and you're sending it to them and then you get ghosted. And then they're not returning your call, or I'm going to talk to my husband, I'll get back to you. And then you see that they book with a cheaper photographer or they went to someone else. And then you're not busy anymore. And all of a sudden you're looking at yourself going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my marketing? Should I lessen my prices? Why does no one see that I exist and that I'm amazing and that I'm this and I'm that and I'm that? So when I ask the photographers that are in my memberships, how can I help you? What do you want to hear about podcasts? One of the comments that led me to this discussion today, one of the comments came in and I'll read you what she wrote. One of my members said, how to get out of a rut, how to overcome feeling like a failure when the clients aren't knocking your door, overcoming the urge to compare yourself to others who are posting on social media more, better, higher, and faster. And that brings me to the topic of this podcast is, are you a creator? Are you a content creator? Or are you a photographer? Or do you have to be both to survive? As she says, they're posting faster, bigger, better. It's because you can look around and some photographers, they're on it every single day. There's a still image, there's a video, there's a reel. They're just on it. And you're going, holy cow, I can't keep up. I'm just trying to master my lighting and posing and figuring out what camera to buy. How is this person constantly producing so much content? And do I have to do that? A lot of photographers are pushing back saying, I don't want to do reels or TikToks or, be a content creator. I just want to be a photographer, go into my studio, create work and have people come to me. And wouldn't that be great? I hear you. I feel you. Sometimes I feel the same way where I just want to go back to the photography days where you just went into your room, picked up a camera, someone booked you, you did the session, they sat down, they ordered photos and you're on your way. Now it's not only do you have to do the photos, but then you have to post the behind the scenes and then you have to do the reels and the music. And it's not enough to just do it once. Should you be doing it every day? I've been listening to a lot of content creators lately, and some people are like 4 times a day, 3 times a week, every other day, every platform. And you're just like, I need a whole content creation team. And if you look at some of the YouTubers that have millions of followers, they do have a whole content creation teams and they have people following them around with the cameras. And it can look so deceiving because it looks like, how hard could that be, until you realize when you go into a session and all you're trying to do, if you're a newborn photographer, is get that baby to sleep. Or if you're doing a 1-year cake smash, you're just trying to get that 1-year-old to smile in the camera and you're just trying to get through the session. And then you realize the session's done and you didn't get the behind the scenes. You didn't get the pretty footage to do the reels. All you have are good old fashioned still images from being a photographer. So what do you do and what is your role? Are you a content creator and a photographer? Do you have to be both? And do you have to do it all now, bigger, better, and faster? I wish I had a perfect answer for you. I want to be like, yes, no, maybe so. I actually do know some very well-paid photographers that don't post a lot of reels and don't do a lot of video and are still very successful. But then I know a lot of other photographers who are average. They're good. Are they amazing? Maybe not, but they're good photographers, but they've got a huge audience because they've really invested the time to do the reels, do behind the scenes videos. And if you're a single person just going to your studio alone without an assistant, without a content creation team, how do you create content and be a photographer and get those babies to sleep and clean up your studio and go home and cook dinner every day? It's a lot, right? It is overwhelming, and I'm busy and I do a lot of things and I do feel overwhelmed. I feel at times I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do a reel. I don't want to do a video. I just want to post my photography and let people call me and book me and just go about my business. So I'm right there with you. I get it. And I will tell you that the imposter syndrome or comparing yourself to others, that's never going to go away. I mean, I still find myself comparing myself to others. I still feel like sometimes I'm not an amazing photographer. And every time I look and scroll on social media, oh, that's really good. And that's really good. Oh, but I didn't create work like that. She must be amazing. She must be so busy. She must be making so much money. But I think what brings me back to earth is because I've traveled so much and because I've talked to so many photographers on all different levels, photographers just starting out and photographers who have been around 20 years, certified photographers, award-winning photographers, published authors. I've spoken to a lot of people. And I think at the end of the day, everyone kind of feels the same way. So on one hand, it can be a little comforting that if you really think about it, we all feel the same way. The need to compare ourselves to others, I don't think is ever going to go away. The feeling less than or never feeling like our work is great enough, I don't think is ever going to go away, because if you're a creative, an artist, a photographer, the constant quest of perfection and making yourself better is never going to end. That I know for sure. I mean, I've been creating and working with cameras since I was a teenager, and I don't certainly wake up every day and think I'm amazing, I should stop. I wake up every day thinking, oh, I need to do this, this, and this. And oh, I want to create this. And I'm always looking for new things to do. Now, I do feel that you do need to be a content creator and a photographer in one. it's 2023. You need to step it up. That's just, I don't think there's any way to not say that. I think we have to step it up. You have to use all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, the shorts, the TikTok, the Reels, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the Pinterest, your website. You've got to be everywhere all at once. You just have to. Does it all have to be done in the same day, all day, every day? No. I think that consistency is key. I think that slow and steady win the race. And that I think that you need to just say, okay, when you have a good session, not every session is meant to have a BTS. There's a lot of sessions that I do where I just kind of want to focus on that particular session. Maybe I'm working with children, or maybe I'm in a newborn, or I'm in a family session. And those sessions where you just don't want to go live. You just don't want to do behind the scenes, but it's amazing. Whether it's a connection with a mom and baby, or a dad and baby, or a family, or a connection with a child, and you're in it, right? As a photographer, you're in that moment, and there have been so many sessions where I'm so in that session. The last thing I want to do is pick up my phone and do a behind the scene video. I just don't want to. I want to be in that moment. I want to be talking to that 3-year-old. I want to be engaging with that family. I want to be soothing that baby. And I just don't want outside influences, and I don't want the noise. And so I do a lot of sessions in a week, guys. And there are so many sessions that I do them without creating live content while I'm doing the session. And then there are the sessions where it's a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more comfortable. And I'll say to the parents, do you follow me on social? Do you mind if I do behind the scenes? But I do it very, very quickly. The baby will be there. I'll get my phone. I'll just pan it and I'll put it away and then save the content for later. If you look at my phone, I have literally hundreds of snippets of video and behind the scenes that I'm going to work on later. I don't feel the need to work on everything right now. When I do a session, I don't even download the images the same day. It may be a couple of days before I even download the images and really look at them and upload the client's gallery. So I've taken away the need for instant content production. I don't feel that I have to do it right that moment. It may take me a week or two, or even a couple of weeks. Sometimes the footage that you're seeing, or the client videos, may have been taken last year or 6 months ago. Not everything you're seeing is produced immediately. If you talk to any content creator that does this for a business, they're usually scheduling posts and planning out their content creation for today, tomorrow, and for the next few months. It looks like it's right now. When we look at the reels and the videos, we feel like everything's happening right now, don't we? And that's the beauty of video. It feels like you're in the moment. The downside of that is, if you don't know any better, you think that everybody's doing everything now all at once, and you don't realize that maybe that photographer shot that session 2 months ago and they're just now posting a video. Or maybe that content creator, created whatever they're doing a year ago and you're just now seeing it. So it's relevant to you. And then you feel this angst like, oh, they're creating so many good things and they're doing all of this. I need to rush and do it. No, you don't. Take a breath. So I will say, yeah, I think you need to be a content creator and a photographer, an artist, a creative all at once. Yes, it is different now. We do need to show more video. We do need to show us working, us behind the scenes, our space, where we are, what we're doing, because people love to see creators create. And so when people go, Anna, what do I do when no one really knows I'm a photographer and no one's really calling me or booking me? And I just am sad and I'm depressed and I don't want to do anything because nobody's interested in my work. So I'm struggling to fight off depression or to get up in the day or even to pick up my camera. I urge you to create anyway. Create anyway. We always feel better when we're doing our God-given talents, whatever it is, whether it's writing music, playing the piano, singing, taking care of your children, or, taking photos. Whenever you're doing something that you're truly passionate about, that you love, we will always feel better. The minute we pick up the camera, don't your problems just go away? Don't you kind of forget about things because you're focused on the creation process, right? Where the demons come in is when that camera's down and you go back to a quiet room or a quiet office, the phone's not ringing and your email's not pinging. And that's that quiet space where it's not always a positive quiet space. Sometimes the demons can come in and make you feel less than. And I'm not going to say create 24/7, but I'm saying you do need to create and you do need to do photography. If you want to be seen and have people find who you are, then you're going to have to create content. But give yourself a break. It doesn't need to be done all day, every day. A couple of times a week, because you do need to give time for your content to propagate. Propagate means it needs to kind of jump across platforms and get audience and get people to view it and watch it. So you don't need to be posting all day, every day, even though it seems like everybody is. I say a couple of times a week. Make sure you're sharing across platform. Make sure that, in a 7-day period, you've posted on all of the different platforms and made sure your website is up to date at least 2 or 3 times so that, people during the week and on the weekend can kind of follow you and see what you're doing. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Anna, no one's booking me, so how am I supposed to create content? I get that, but there's lots of things you can do to create content and create awareness to what you're doing. Sometimes it's as simple as cleaning and organizing your closet. Anytime I start cleaning or organizing my closet and do behind the scenes video or photos, people love it. They're super fascinated with seeing people's spaces. Lately, sometimes when I'm culling a session in Lightroom and I'm just going through and I'll just take my phone and post some little video of the culling process, I get a huge response to that. Even my clients will kind of message me and go, oh my gosh, I loved that session. I can't wait to see my own photos. So all I'm doing is kind of showing my work process. So if you don't have clients, let's think about all the things that you can do. Number one, you can get a model and create a new set, create something new. What inspires you? If there's something that you haven't done, maybe now's the time to do it when you're slower. And I've said this before, when you have a slow time, this is the time to kind of clean things up. If you have a workspace, organize your workspace, clean it, tidy it up, do behind the scenes while you're doing it. Make sure that everything's organized. So when you do have a client to come in, your space is ready to go. Because we all know that when we're busy, we don't have time to clean and organize, right? So take advantage of any downtime you have and make sure that your shooting area or your space, or if you're on location, even your camera bag is clean. You ever notice that sometimes just the camera bag and the backpack get all just beat up and overfilled with stupid stuff? Why not clean it all out? Have you ever seen photos or videos of people saying, here's what's in my gear, here's my gear bag, and they show pretty photos of the bag and what's in the bag and outside, and they do all this stuff and you think, gosh, I never have time to do that. Well, maybe you do now. If no one's calling you, start thinking about all the things that you want to do that you say you never have time for. Is your website up to date? Are all of your social media pages up to date? Is your studio or working area clean? Are the bags, the camera, the gear, everything you're using to shoot your car, is it all clean? Is it all organized? Are you all ready to go? If it's not, do all of those things and do some behind the scenes photo and video and reels. Now let's say all that's done and you're going, yes, Anna, my space, I'm ready to go. I just need someone to book me. Go out and do a model call and get a model. Maybe go to the fields, go to the beach, bring them in your studio, try something new. And while you're doing it, see if you can get some help so they can take some behind the scenes photos of you working, or set up your phone on a little tripod and just learn how to create your own footage and then go ahead and edit the reels. Try something new. AI is all the rage. Do some AI tutorials. Go back and work on some old images and refresh them with some new AI tips and techniques. There's so many things that you can do. And while you're doing it, try and create content behind the scenes and along the way. That way, you're going to be so busy that you're not going to think about what other people are doing. You're going to put your blinders on and just focus. And that's all the advice I can really give you. We can't pay attention to what other people are doing. We can't pay attention to how good we think everybody is, how busy we think everybody is. You've got to focus on you and your own journey. And there are days where it's going to seem very lonely and isolating. I get that. I'm right there with you. I've been doing this a long time, you guys, and you have to just move forward, put put the blinders on. When we say blinders, it's like a horse in a race. Why do horses in a race have blinders on? Because if they're looking to the left or to the right, they're going to go back. They're not going to go forward, right? They need the blinders on so that we're in the track. All they're doing is focusing on what's in front of them. That's what you have to do, because the minute you take those blinders off and you look into the left and to the right, what's going to happen? You're walking backwards. You can't go at a fast forward pace while looking to the left and right. You can't do it. And so you've just got to put your blinders on, go in your little space, maybe write a book, write poetry, start a blog, who knows? But there's so many things you can do with your time and get out of that negative space of comparing and feeling less than. If photography is something you really want to do and you want to make a life and a career out of it and hopefully earn some money along the way, then that's what you need to focus on. You need to be a content creator and a photographer in one, not all at the same time, but a little bit pieces each week, each day. And I promise you, as you grow and you go along, those little tiny videos, those little tiny reels, those little tiny behind the scenes photos will just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. You guys, I have millions of views on YouTube, but I didn't start out that way. I started out one view at a time, one subscriber at a time. Your mailing list, one sign up at a time, one like, one click, one comment. Okay, you just have to imagine that little tiny tumbleweed that starts at the top of the hill and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And then at the bottom, it's a hay bale. That's what you need to imagine. You need to imagine the little tiny seed that you put deep down in the soil that ends up sprouting up to what? A lemon tree, an avocado tree, who knows, a cherry tree. But it started from a tiny seed, you guys. Seeds that are usually tinier than the tip of our fingernail. How is that even humanly possible, right? That's your life, guys. And you got to be patient with it and you have to persevere. You don't have time to compare yourself to others. Every time you do, and every time you go into that negative space, and every time you get down, step out of it. Think about it, feel it, and then move on, because girl, you got things to do. I'm Anna Brandt. Hopefully something I said in this podcast will resonate with you and you'll get out of your rut and just focus on creating content and being the best artist that you can be.
Did you like this podcast? We would love it if you gave my mom a kind review and reach out to her. To learn more about Anna, visit annabrandt.com. You can find out about her education opportunities at annabranteducation.com.